Previously on God's Will, Not
I don't know
Mine.
what the typical dating is and the correct dating is. So somebody wonder
Alright, so
what it is. What's the
yeah, so
difference?
usually in our thing, you can probably attest to it. We'll meet somebody who say we like them, talk over the phone couple minutes,
Yeah,
and then
and then all
one
of
or
a
two
sudden,
times all of a sudden you're
girlfriend,
boyfriend and
boyfriend.
girlfriend. You know, I think my father, my parents in general explain a lot about these things to me, and that's why it's important to communicate with the older folks. We actually go through them things and probably not go through it to the same extent like we do at our age.
My mother was raised dependent. So when she married daddy now, she relied heavily on daddy.
Yeah.
Daddy buy her clothes, daddy buy the grocery, daddy do everything. So when she found out that daddy wasn't coming back, it was literally like the ground beneath
Draw
her
the
feet
carpet
just
from under her
move.
Rub just draw from under her foot. Straight up.
So she's in the house physically.
But
but
her
up,
mind.
that's a God. So for you or your father, for me and my mother.
It's your boy Jovi Royal.
Back again with another
Quality. They said it. You know, welcome again to another week, another series, another episode with Jovi Royal. As you know, I'm on a journey with God's will, not mine. And this podcast is really to rediscover, reignite, and to have people go out there and explore to get their purpose being lived out and to have that passion executed. Now today I have with me two gentlemen. They are here to just be raw, uncut, unfiltered with me. I'm gonna touch on this topic and get a bit as well granular and personal with you gentlemen, because from time to time I interview people, but I don't really get to give them a lot of me.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this topic is one where I want us to have a discussion that's deep.
Alright.
First things first, both of you grew up with both parents? No, so it's
Well,
no
for
from
me, yes. For me.
and for you, yes, and for me, likewise. Now, I want to find out what's your thought on fathers who are absent in the household.
Well, I'll take this one first, bro.
Alright. Fathers are necessary in their children's lives. I'm not gonna say only sons, daughters also.
Yeah.
Because the father is the example of manhood in the house. So the father shows the daughter what she should expect, how she should be treated from a man.
Yes,
And the
yes.
father shows his son
How to be a man.
To be a man.
Ah, man. Start already.
So if the father is absent, the son doesn't have any idea of how to be a man. And the daughter don't have any example of what to look for,
in a man.
how to be loved, and all of that in a man.
Mercy. So
That's it.
I see now why you have so many women out there who looks for
Uh-huh.
a man who is like a father.
Exactly. Because
yes,
the
exactly.
void is there.
Yeah,
It needs to be
Fill the
filled.
void. That is
Wow.
why a female who had her father in her life and the father was present and showed her what she should expect.
Yes, yes, yes.
Those daughters, they don't usually deal with any type of guy because it's like they know the standard and that's what they go for.
That's what they
So
go
when
for.
they're not getting it, they just so they seem callous, but it's not callous.
No.
They're just used to a certain standard. And they don't want to go below it.
That's right. And that's what they were actually brought up into and educated about, you know, so they know exactly what to go after and what not to take.
Right.
So that's very important. Love that. What about you, Dean?
Yeah, man, I think that a father's absence in the home is very detrimental. Not just to the children, but to the whole running of the household. Because the single parenting on the mother's side is very hectic. She give the birth, she had to take care of the picnic, and she had to take care of the household without a man. It's very difficult, I can tell you, right? And also, might I tell you guys that a father can be present and absent at the same time. And that is where I'll go with my experience. I had two parents. but my father was absent up here.
Mm-hmm.
And his perception of fatherhood was, my daddy, go do your homework, this, that. Mind you, we went places and whatever. It wasn't all bad. But his absence came in the form of focusing on things outside of the home and leaving us hanging.
Yeah.
Okay.
You understand? So, school fee for pay, him, boy, somebody out there did need 10 grand and then give our school fee. So, you put my mother in a problem. My mother gave money for take care of the life bill. When you come back, you do something else with the money. Next day, come home, darkness. You understand me? I say?
Yeah.
That's being absent up here.
Yeah.
So even though the figure is there wasn't any conscience towards the household. And there wasn't also any example of what we should follow as boys and what my sister should look for in a man. So absence can come in different forms.
Different forms. I love the fact that you mentioned that a father can be present but absent at the same time, and I gave an example of yours.
Yeah, man.
Because for me, I grew up with both parents as well, but I realized that for my mother, she's the one who took on majority
Yes,
of
man.
the weight.
Yes, man.
So in every single way, when you look at it, you see that women, sometimes they have to be playing the part
Double
of a
role
father.
model. Yeah, man.
But a father can never groom or nurture a daughter like
As a
how the
woman,
mother
that-
can,
right.
vice versa.
Vice versa.
You know? And so I want to know from Errol, who you did not grow up with your father, but of course your
With your
father is
dad,
still
yeah.
around. What was that experience like for you?
That experience was one big roller coaster. One big
Can just
nightmare.
imagine.
Because
Oh boy.
Dad left for the United States when I was 3 plus, almost 4. It's been 29 years and he's back yet. That's one different podcast all by itself.
Mercy. Can't hold it, sir.
My mother was raised dependent.
Yeah.
Right.
She never, I understand her situation, but she wasn't raised to stand on her own. So when she married Daddy now, she relied heavily on Daddy.
Yeah.
Daddy buy her clothes, Daddy
Yeah.
buy the grocery, Daddy do everything. So when she found out that Daddy wasn't coming back, it was literally like the ground beneath
Draw
her
the
feet
carpet
just
from under her
move. And she just
Rub
drop,
the draw from under her
crumble.
foot.
Just crumble.
Nice.
She never tough it up and say,
Yeah.
"Ah,
Yeah,
then I
never
must
step
be
up now."
a mother to
Yeah.
the children." She
You
just-
mash her up.
just-
Straight up.
So she's in the house physically,
But
but
her
up-
mind.
but to God. So for you and your father, for me and my mother, Daddy wasn't there physically, but he tried from where he was. But Mommy was there, but not up so. So basically, I didn't have water.
Based on it, yeah. Because I grew up without parents.
And Daddy was trying to be a father through my uncle who came into the picture later down. But uncle are the next one because he wanted the love that our father was getting. So he tried so hard to get the love that all the money, the finances, the attention, the cars, the concerns coming to us from Daddy, he shielded us from that. So he made it look as though Daddy didn't
Never
care.
care.
Yes.
Yes,
So it's like, as far as I was concerned, up until I started UTEC, up to that point in my head, Daddy didn't care.
Yeah, you know,
Because
the
Uncle was
business.
shielding us.
Yeah. So uncle care.
Uncle.
Boy.
You know, say you mentioned UTEC, but you know, from I was going to basic school up until college days, I've never ever had my father come and say, "Hey, this is what you should have towards school fee."
Yo,
Never.
may I go cut it, bro?
You know?
But to be honest, and I've always heard this saying and I've seen it happen too many times. Jamaican man crosses. And why is it that it's always the man that do foolishness. Think about it, you know. You always hear a mother a batter, a struggle. But you know, you hardly hear a father struggle. The father, them always, if he's not the father, it's somebody from the father's side that do some foolishness. Why? That is a question we need to be asking these men. What is wrong with you? What you do?
But the thought comes to mind just now, like some fathers had the absence of a father.
Oh, come on now.
So
This is what they answer the question.
It's a cycle.
So it's
It's
like
a vicious
exactly.
cycle too.
So you don't have an example to look at.
So you do
to
the
take a
same
sample
thing.
from. So you do the same thing.
That is their example, you know,
so
the lack
that
of
is it,
example.
The lack of example. And so I see why society is so, we feel that it's so prominent with a lot
Yes,
of fathers who
yeah,
are not really
yeah.
fathers, they are just persons who come and they are sperm donors.
Sperm.
Because my father's parents weren't really parents, you know. Especially mother.
See
My
that
father
now.
tells me his mother was a lending agent.
Yeah.
I laugh every time I hear it. She used to lend him out to other people. Yeah, man. It's the way in which daddy came into the equation. Yeah, it's kind of rough, but nonetheless, are your son.
Yes.
Yeah.
You do what you do.
Yes.
You make a mistake, whatever I'm cool. It's still your son.
That's
Right.
Don't allow your son
To suffer.
suffer
Yeah,
because
man,
of
because
some
of your
mistake
mistake.
or what. No,
As I
it's
tell
still
people,
your
you know,
son.
the
Yeah.
child is
Because
not
of
at
that-
fault. You never
Because
say
of
that.
that, she wasn't really a mother. And it's so ironic that in her dying days, of all the children she had, daddy was the one who did everything.
That
He
was
must
good.
come do it.
He
Yeah,
was
it's
the one who
awesome.
did everything.
That was good.
It's so sad. I mean, looking at your lives now, because I know for me, I grew up as mentioned with my mother doing majority of the stuff, and we see where the father for you is overseas, so you don't really have much experience with him. But in any way, you think that if your father was more present and involved in your life, you think there are certain things that you do know, you think it would be different?
I think so. I strongly believe so.
Strongly. Why? The only answer I can give you for who I am today is God.
God Himself.
I have no other answer for you.
God Himself.
Because I am in this house with no father, mommy isn't there mentally.
So you have to go
Society
yourself.
dictates I'm supposed to be a bad boy.
Yeah. Based on the statistics.
Based on the statistics, I'm supposed to be a bad boy or a bum.
Yes, man.
I am an educator. So me never really do too bad for myself.
Who but God?
If daddy was there, I probably would have been doctor, lawyer, something like that. Because daddy would have pushed me to go study, do your homework, do this, do that. And daddy's presence would have called for mommy's mental faculties being in tune. So mommy would have been, because she was a principal. She was a basic school principal. So she was a learned woman.
Right.
So she would have helped me also to
Steer you.
read better, to do this, to do that.
Yes.
I wouldn't have been a late bloomer, so to speak.
Yes.
So I believe, and then daddy was an entrepreneurial man.
Yeah.
So I would have gotten
Something
some
with
form
that
of
was.
entrepreneurial traits from him. Right? So I believe if he was around, things would have been way better.
I believe.
And even my introduction to gun and violence that I had to run away from, that probably wouldn't come into the equation.
None at all.
Because where I was when it was introduced, me would be dead as
And the thing, that's exactly for my father. He was absent here, meaning all his energy was not channeled into the home. And the funny part is that he thought he was doing so. And the funny part was that we as children thought he was doing so because our mother shielded that. So sometimes she'd even palm him our money. You understand? For him, give we. To feel like you understand? And the thing is, him spend free money out of everyone. Give away money out of everyone. And when it come to it, when I no school fee, light cutter, water cutter, you understand? It was hell on my mother. And I strongly believe that's what caused my mother to pass on. It stressed her out. She developed cancer. She survived the first one, but it came back. And yes, at this point, she was in a more peaceful situation because we ended up having to leave the situation, which is a different podcast, as everyone said. This can't hold on yourself.
Yes.
But she died peacefully, but it was because of the stress why she ended up now passing away. And I believe that if my father was a better father, right now I couldn't have checked my mother.
Yeah.
You understand me? I say? So it's very important for the men to fill their roles. It's very mentally and physically. You can't be here physically and absent mentally and vice versa. You have to be here in both ways. And I believe also that you need to be spiritually in tune as a father. You are the priest of the home. And your duty is to ensure that your home is thriving spiritually first and then in other ways. Because you can't neglect your family and worse, go a road go show off. Say, boy, I'm not going to give man money because I help him, but you're not helping yourself.
And that's the thing. Sometimes some fathers, they go outside and they display a thing like, oh, you know, man a yard, you know.
Yeah, man, that was my father.
Yeah.
That was my
They
father.
seem as if they are providing, but they are not. So outside, they are putting on a show
Yeah, man, that was my
face.
father.
Inside
Definitely.
the family are suffering inside. There's no example as to a father figure. You know, and so both of you dropped some real deep experiences thus far. And I just want to know, because you not having much good examples coming from your father and not having your father around in which you wish you could have, you would have made some decisions, of course, that you might would have regretted, because you would have stayed, you'd have maybe thought that if Pops was here, could have maybe learned that, especially when it comes on to vehicle. If your father is a man, you know something like that. It's easier rather than to go online.
Right.
To look it up
Discover
and
it
learn
yourself.
by experience, But coming on the flip side, in terms of females, you not having your father any at all, because maybe your father could be a womanizer, you never know. But that's for another whole episode. But I want to know, you both are married men, right? Not having your father being there to guide you. What did you have to do in order for you to find out that, hey, listen, this is how I should treat a woman? Because you didn't have that example. But did you have to go to school? Did you have to speak to other persons to discover how to treat a woman? What was it that you had to do to ensure that you didn't turn out as a womanizer, but you're now a man who could have reached to the point of being married?
You want to take this one first, bro?
Yeah,
why did you take it? Why did
It is.
Alright, so as I said before, the father is the one who teaches his son how to be a man, which includes how to treat the woman.
Yeah.
So if in the house, father talks to the wife in any way, whereas if him ill-treat or abuse her, to the son, that's the example of how to treat a woman.
Yes.
Very few sons develop the maturity and understand that what daddy is doing and also it going, I'm
True.
not supposed to follow suit.
Yes.
I didn't have the example, so I actually learned over time. So I met my wife, yes, I know some I like her and I know some if I try as best as possible to make her happy. But mistakes made on my part were made early out for reasons that could easily be traced to
The lack of
father. Because me never understand from early.
So
you
you're
leave
winging
that,
it.
leave that,
You're
leave
winging
that.
it on your own.
So I wing me
As a
basically,
child and
I
everything
wing
in
it.
the band.
Yeah.
Wing it. So although I developed a good relationship with my father now, a telephonic one, every now and again when I get the chance I go look for him. Telecommunication relationship. And him give me great advice and whatnot. But the advice is coming now.
When
seed is being planted. No,
when it
in a marriage. So although I appreciate the advice, because enough time the advice kind of help me to say, alright, look at it that way, look at it that way.
Yeah.
But if if the example was brewing from the get-go,
You wouldn't have to look at it
it
certain
would
way.
have been easier. And then this
Yeah.
thing I developed now, because his absence plunged the family into severe poverty.
Mercy, you know.
I've endured some poverty where
Mhm.
me don't want me enemy endure
No,
something.
no.
Hunger and the whole lot.
Yes, yes.
So I had to develop this thing wherein if the situation come up and I shouldn't worry about it, me just not busy not with it. If it is something to worry about, then me try to figure it out. I brought that into marriage. So the first year or two a problem, because in my head, if me no need to kill up myself or whatever,
You're not
business
kill up
man,
yourself, right?
that is not a good thing.
Because you have been in survival mode.
I was in
You
survival
understand?
mode.
So you not come out of the mold yet for say,
Like him
boy,
transition,
you
see
transition
into
up
the
and say, I no longer have to be this way. I
Then
train
come
the
out
man
of
train
that.
himself for surviving.
And in the initial case, in the initial stage, me kind of force wife to see, say I saw mistake,
Yeah.
but she would not have been able to see it
No.
like me, because one, she's a female, she never see how me
Yeah,
see
see
it,
from how you
and
see.
two, she never grow how me grow.
Yeah. So she
And
now have
three,
that,
women
that
have
she now have the
expectancy.
empathetic part there where she
touch
can
it,
touch pan and say,
Right. So I
yeah.
even look for empathy, but me not really
You
get
not
the
get
empathy,
it,
because when
you know-
she
you
come
should not
in,
understand.
me a husband, me feel,
Yeah.
you see me I say?
Yes.
And not every wife understands say, my husband did grow a certain way, so give him time to
True,
adjust.
yeah,
And every
adjust.
wife
Or help
stays
him
and
to
some
adjust.
don't
Don't
stay
stay
so.
so.
I help him to adjust, right? So I had to just
Good one.
take the anger and the frustration from her, and over time realize that, alright, Errol, you have to reprogram that survival
Yeah,
mode
lock it up.
and lock it off. Yeah, you have to change it.
Yeah.
So even if it don't make no sense to you, remember that it makes sense to
So,
wifey.
yeah.
So
So
because
find
it
a
does
way
to
to do
her,
something. Yeah.
shift.
Find a way to do something.
Me wouldn't have to go through all of that
If you had
the
that guidance.
example
Yeah,
was
man.
and guidance was there from the beginning.
And that's true. So see how him attack now, how him learn over time. And how he mentioned that some people learn from. I was that where I learned from my father's mistakes. And I actually learned from my mother how to be a husband. You understand?
That's coming at me.
My mother taught me what a woman is supposed to experience from a God-fearing, responsible man. You understand? And I saw more and more every day, because when I was younger, I just think that my father was it, and we look up to him, man. Boy, my father singing a group, and my father this, and everybody know him, and all that kind of thing. So you kind of thought that you had a super dad. But over time, he started to say, but this not happen. But I'm mommy do this.
Yeah.
Why
yeah.
don't I run up and down and do that? So you start
Pick
to
up
put
now.
two and two together until your eyes open now and you see it for clear as day that your father had not been doing anything for the longest while. You understand? I mean, I say if a man reach a rough spot, that's an issue. The fact is, it has become a part of you to not do anything. You understand? So I learned from what when my mother was alive, I used to tell her, I will never be a dad or a husband like my father was. Every day I work towards being better than him. And that has helped me to develop certain things, to seek it from my mother, praying to God about it, reading books, and watching advice from inspirational people as Steve Harvey and people like that, where they train your mind into being a proper gentleman. And so I had those good examples to follow.
Yes.
And I had the drive of the bad example not to follow. So that is what drove me to becoming a husband, wherein I can say, boy, everything not peachy, as in any relationship. But I now have a platform to work off of to say, hey, this is how things should be.
Yes.
That's what happened to
Yes, and another thing is sometimes, like I sit down and I say, but I love to have that little reason here with pops, have that issue with my mom. See
Can't
them bounce
reason.
it off,
Yeah.
but you can't really have them reason.
me. Yeah,
there.
because of that.
So the absence there is like a leave a void there
Right,
to have that
yeah.
understanding
Mhm.
as to what you could do in that case.
Mhm,
So you have to reach out to a brother or another senior who you see as a father figure, or
Right.
somebody you see as a person that you look up
Mhm.
to. And so sometimes I look at myself and I say, with my father not being around,
Mhm.
how else can I be able to be a better man?
Right,
You know,
right.
and what, as you alluded to earlier, you have to find ways to get information. You read
Yeah,
books. You may be in certain type of settings. Put yourself out there where you can have those information given to you. So not because the father is absent, it means that you cannot be a good man, because both of you could have been some crow.
Trust me, man.
You don't want to be
Yeah,
married
man.
now.
Yeah,
You could still be
yeah.
out there. Even though you have some married men who are still old fathers. and
Well,
still
yeah, man.
cheating, but
Them.
the good thing is that both of you are here sitting as examples where you had some side of you with the absence of the father and the presence. But what is one thing you would state that if your father was present, you would have loved to have with him? That one thing you wish that if he was present, you would have loved to enjoy with him. You can go after it first, Dean.
Well, for me, my father was there, but I would have appreciated if my father took the time out to really show more appreciation for the things that we achieved as children, because that was also lacking. I'll never forget when I had this parents' day and we went to school to collect our reports, and we went up to the physical education teacher. I got 90% in the final exam. I scored the highest in the entire 9th grade. And my father turned to me and asked me, where's the other 10%? Up until this day, he did not say, congratulations, son,
Good job, right?
or good job.
Yeah.
And to this day, it lives with me, but it does not affect me the way how it has. It has actually catapulted me to be a better person. But those are the things that I would have appreciated from my father. Job well done, son. You're going ahead. I see that you're trying. He
Yes.
was not that kind of man. More.
That's all.
Where is this? Where is that? What you doing? No, it's not like that. Do this better. You understand?
Yeah.
But there wasn't any. You're doing a good job. See if you can improve. You understand? I'm not saying that you can't want more from your child, but you're doing a good job. And that's what I learned, that when I have a child, the child must always be commended for what their effort is. Always. Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that out.
Encouragement, sweet.
Yes, man.
Encouragement, sweet labor. Now over to you.
This, let me tell you what this means. This is camaraderie. This is fellowship. This is brotherhood. If my father was present, I would have wanted this sort of brotherhood with my father. We do have it now, but it is estranged because he's over there and I'm out here. Right? And whenever I travel and go look for him, I get a sense of it. But it's limited because the time will come when I get back, when I come back home. Right? But the biggest thing outside of the camaraderie and all that, the biggest thing is if he were around, I would have wanted the support.
Yes.
I have never heard I love you from my parents.
That's called keeping.
Yeah, man.
I've never heard it. Two, and now, though me and him have a good relationship, it's so weird now because after all the years of Uncle shielding everything, by now, it's weird. So me not have that. The good job, the try, none of that.
No,
I don't know what none of that feels like. I've never had that. So that is definitely something I really would have wanted if you were around.
Oh, as for me, you know, I really would have wished that my father could come to me and say, hey, my son, these are some of the mistakes I've made. I don't want you to make the same. And try to show me the other ways how to go about it. Because so many times
would avoid Wally Patrol.
would avoid so many different things.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing I really wish that I could have gotten from him. You know, but just to wrap up, my viewers, I intentionally didn't give the names of my guests at the start because I want to ensure that you see that these young men here, their names right now, it might come from the father, the surname of their fathers. Some of you may know them some way, somehow know the story, but their fathers, they are not the ones who have the final say. The individual who is sitting beside me is Errol Martin, and we have Dean-Andrew Davis. If you know either of these young men, just know that they are doing great things. The presence or the absence of their father did not deter them from being who they are today. And so for a father, you're viewing, you're looking, and you might be feeling a little bit remorseful about not having done all that you should have. Just remember, you still have time. You can make a difference. And for the father who is doing all that he needs to get done, continue to do that. And you see us, this right here, which Errol just said, this camaraderie, this way in which we can be able to communicate, it makes young men who are out there firing the guns, doing scamming, a lot of things right now that they could have chosen another route. It can eliminate that from happening. Because having men in your circle who can help you to elevate and think of life productively rather than to be an idler makes a big world of difference. So with that, I just want to find out 3 fun facts about you both individually. So just tell me 3 fun facts about you.
One,
So
love
like I
football.
back at the Bigfoot snack quite first.
One, love football. 2, love sing. I love singing so much that me not too good. Love sing.
Like myself, yeah.
And 3, I am a lover of good fellowship.
Yes.
So you see, me and my friend them meet up, especially food and the mix.
Man.
And we eat some good food and we sit down and reason.
Cat on
You know,
one post time.
Good.
Yeah, man. Well, for me, fun fact, I know 8 different foreign languages. Don't even touch on that right now. Secondly, me love sing too. Like if me not sing, it's like breathing at this point. If it doesn't happen, it's possible that we might become ill. If you see us here, it's no joke. We might become ill if we don't get a chance to sing. That's how much we love singing. And 3, same thing as what Errol say. I love reading and reading them.
Yeah, man.
It's sweet. Not to lie. I'm not busy when no man wants to say. But when we link up and we are reason, I know
Yes,
how
man.
we still in.
Yes, man.
But you know, when we link up and we reason and we talk, as Errol say, food in the mix, you know, not more than
Oh,
that.
good.
Great.
Sometimes we lose track of time when boy, who wife are coming, oh not there. You say, yeah man, we soon reach man. But it's sweet. Yeah man, it's sweet man. So wife, if you not look, girlfriend, it's sweet. And sometimes we have to understand, say you have to give it a little time for you understand a little wiggle room because
men's time
it men's time or men's
It's
time.
necessary.
We love you, you know. Don't get it wrong, you know. We love you the same way. But guess what? When we are raised, man, that is our in our element as them say.
That's right.
Yes, man.
That's right. Boy, this was really
Yeah, man, it was inside.
Yeah, I mean,
And mind you,
enjoyed
mind you,
coming out.
bro, mind you,
Yeah,
bro.
man.
I've never spoken about this on camera.
Mhm.
Just like this. This is the first time I've got
Yes.
opportunity and somewhat the courage to talk about
Yes.
it because
Yes.
it really affected me as a child, and you know, it's good to talk about things like
You
that.
let it out.
Yeah, man.
It's therapeutic.
It is, you know. And so for some of you looking on, if you're going through the same thing, feel free to get a counselor, you know, get somebody who you can look up to and you can speak to, you know, so you can be able to, if you're in that place right now where mentally you're feeling like you're mentally compromised with a lot of different things, your mental health is not in the right place, remember, you're not in it alone. Seek wise counsel, look up to God, and you can always count on your friends and family. So this was indeed a very wonderful, beautiful session, gents.
Yes,
You know,
yes, yes.
and of course you're both gonna come back because we have some more things to talk about.
Yeah, man, no
You
problem.
know? So you can look out for that. But family, you know, it's again another week, another session, and I look forward to see you next week when we uncover another story from a beautiful individual. I just look out for it. So thanks again for being here on Joby Royal channel. We'll see you again in the next episode.
My father was this type of person. We couldn't go anywhere. Party was next door, and we couldn't go. We only go, and girls could not go to the shop. I grew up in Tivoli Garden. He ran in and out of family. My mother was the last wife, so I mean he had 1, 2 before. Then my mother, which was the last one, and that went for 16 years. Clearly, he was searching for something.